This was pretty cool. I got a chance to get a hold of a good buddy of mine that I met when I first started hanging out at the Comedy Store. His name's Steve Simeone. A couple days ago, I recorded this interview, and I was happy I finally had a successful phone interview, because what I did with Don Barris kind of fucked up. I think I got by the time I finished editing, the conversation Don and I had was about maybe 5 minutes long, and I really hope to have him back on the show sometime. But realistically, if you're I don't care if you're a fucking comedian, a mason, a welder, or a fucking Walmart greeter, you're never going to meet anybody that's nicer than Steve Simeone. I swear to God, dude, and anybody in comedy will probably totally agree with you. I don't know anybody who could say a bad word about this guy whatsoever. Big Philadelphia guy, big Philly supporter, stuff like that. I can't even hate the fucking Flyers because of this dude. Now, and that's usually, if you're not a Flyers fan, if you're a fan of the other 29 fucking hockey teams, you're going to say those guys are probably the most brutal beasts there are out there as far as fandom goes. But anyways, yeah, I hope you enjoy this one, man. I just want a couple quick shout-outs before we start up. I didn't do it on the last one, so thanks, Don Barris. I really appreciate you being on the show last time. I also want to say thanks to Brian Kearns, Adam Dodd, Alex Moore, the Joke Slingers Comedy Tour, which is a really cool independent tour of comedians that's going around, and they went to my hometown. My hometown's fucking small, man. 16,000 people is according to the last census of the people that live there. You know, it's no wonder why I left for the military. And I had no clue how to fucking do an open mic or do stand-up comedy in a small town like that. You know, so what do? You know what I'm saying? I go to the Comedy Store, hang out there, and then next thing you know, I fall in love with being on in front of the microphone instead of just in front of the speakers. So that, and then really big shout out to the world famous Comedy Store in West Hollywood, because if it wasn't for a place like that, which if you don't understand the Comedy Store, it's just one of the biggest places that will just let you come in, hang out, and just chill and watch comedy and meet a lot of cool people. A lot of people think it's probably the worst in the world as well, and you know, well, that everybody's entitled to their own opinion. I'm not trying to make people be my friend or anything like that. I really agree to disagree. I can give a fuck, man. But for me, personally, I love the place to death. There's no other place I'd rather hang out and spend a lot of time with, you know, other between the Comedy Store and a fucking hockey game. So, hey, man, much love and much appreciation. Thanks for bearing with me and listening to my show. Hope to see you out there on the road, or be friends with me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, all that other fun shit, blah, 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 blah. Let's roll. Friends, fans, followers, leaders, and true believers, let's try this again. It was somewhat of a successful attempt that ended in failure. When I got a hold of Don Barris, that was an awesome interview, I thought. It's cut short, unfortunately, because of technical difficulties, and we'll just say me not really knowing what the fuck I'm doing on this thing. I don't know. But either way, I really enjoyed that, and hopefully I can get a hold of Stevie Simeone. Hell of a good guy, man. I mean, this guy was there before I even started doing comedy. He's another one of those guys that was just there hanging at the store and doing comedy at the store, actually. And there's probably about a dozen people that I can say if it wasn't for him easily, and he's definitely one of them. So if it wasn't for Stevie Simeone, I probably wouldn't be doing stand-up comedy, and you know, so if you want to blame him or thank him, that's up to you. I can do nothing but thank him. So here we go, let's try this. How the hell you been, buddy?
I'm doing fantastic. How's everything in your world?
Good, good, man. Busy, busy, busy. You got the military, the hockey, the comedy, and the family. Well, family comes first. I just put it in the last, so that's how life goes.
That's amazing. That's a great life, dude.
Just trying to juggle and stay ahead of the game, man. About ready to do a little mini deployment here for not even too long. It'll be fun. And then,
where are you gonna go? Maybe not an upset.
I'm just going down the street here in Virginia, and that's easier, especially for my grandma. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
One time, it's kind of funny. I got you on speakerphone, by the way. But anyways, I'm sitting in my garage. I'm not trying to do a Mark Maron thing or anything like that, but what was I saying? Oh yeah, this one. Well, you met my dad. You know how he is. He's kind of. I had everything.
I love him.
I love him.
But the thing is, with family, it's the best. Like, I'm like, your dad's the best. And you're like, well, if you really knew him, you wouldn't say that. That's what everybody thinks about their family, by the way.
Oh, exactly, definitely. But the funny thing about him though is that I told him, like, don't say shit to anybody that I'm going. This is when I went to Iraq, like the second time. It's like, don't say anything to anybody, and don't let anybody know. And then it was funny because I even had my grandma down, like, thinking I was in Guam, or actually Saipan, which is an island right off of Guam. And we took incoming. And you heard boom, 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 right? And then I was like, God damn it, Grandma, I gotta go. Joey just blew up a generator again. And I hung up the phone before they could shut our phones down, you know? So, yeah, so, like, it was cool. My grandma bought my story, everything. And then, like, 3 days later, my dad slips and is just like, yeah, well, since Josh has been in Iraq, I've been kind of worried about him.
Oh, God.
And then, yeah, so, yeah. The stink eye you get from grandma when you lie to them, it's not really cool. Even when you do it for their own good.
Exactly. Yeah, grandmas are like the best thing in life. I'm gonna get lied to people bad about it. Like, oh, God. So how's hockey treating you, dude?
Good, bro. Good. I help out with the Norfolk Admirals here, which the cool thing is they're Anaheim Ducks Farm Club. You know, so, like...
Oh, that's awesome.
Heck yeah. And,
So
like...
you come out here, you could probably get, like, a hookup with tickets or something?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Like, the owner's daughter works here at the Scope, with the minor league affiliation. So, I'm gonna...
Oh, that's cool.
I'll probably sweet talk her, bring my daughter up, and be like, we really want tickets.
That would be dude, hockey's so much fun.
Well, the thing is, too, I did this...
Especially watching it live. You watch it, like, right... What are you... Like, you help out with the games, right?
Yeah. Well,
You're, like, right there?
yeah, the thing is like, what I do is I run the stats around. I'll go up top, I'll get the stats, and I'll grab those, and from the top up in the press box, and I'll run all the way down to the home coach, and I'll deliver the stats, and then I'll take them to the away coach. And it's kind of interesting the attitude you get depending on who's winning and who's losing, you know.
That's hysterical.
Because, like, sometimes I'll walk in the room and it'll be like, wow, Sam Kinnison's still alive. Fucking motherfucker! It's pretty interesting. That's for sure, man.
That's hysterical. Who's been the coolest person you've met through the hockey connection?
Who have I met the coolest through there?
Yeah. Like, which guy is just like, you're like, that's a cool dude?
There's a lot that were really cool, and I think you'll probably enjoy this one. One of the coolest and nicest guys, and I sat for an entire period and talked hockey with, Mark Howe.
Oh, man. One of my all-time favorite Flyers.
Yeah, and you know what sucks about the Flyers, speaking of Flyers, and I want to say fuck you, but I love you, so I can't, is that I can no longer hate them. Every time I hear Flyers or anything, I'm like, I wonder how Steve's doing.
Dude, that's the best compliment ever.
Steve, well, oh yeah, speaking of which, Philadelphia, you know, I thought was kind of funny is, I ran into this Marine. I was in Kuwait, and they were getting ready to spin up, and they're going to go to fucking, they're spinning up, they're going up to Iraq and stuff like that. This was a couple years ago. And then, and she says,
Kuwait's right there on the border, isn't it?
yeah,
Like,
oh yeah.
right on the border of Iraq?
Oh yeah, it's basically like Nevada to California. You know what I mean? So,
Gotcha.
yeah, it's the same thing. And then, it's the same thing as that. And she says, I'm not afraid of Iraq. I'm from Philly. And instantly I'm like, wow, man, that reminds me of Eleanor.
Yeah, the chicks are so... Yeah, Eleanor could easily beat me up in a second. Eleanor was a former pro wrestler.
Oh, yeah. I forgot who tweeted it. I think it was Pete. I think Pete tweeted her freaking wrestling thing. There's like 3 of them that went in a ring together. And she was...
Easy Rider was her name. They're like a motorcycle gang.
Yeah. And then all 3 of them went in and they fought the other people who were supposed to be good, or the good guys, because they were part of the bad guys.
Oh, funny. She's the best. I think she's on the road with Dice again, which is cool.
That is awesome, man.
Yeah. When are you going to come visit us at the Comedy store, Josh?
As soon as I can. It's just like with the work schedule and the hockey season, finances too, man. I just took some leave, and I did a show with Alex Moore, Adam Dodd, and Brian Kearns, and you know.
No way! How are those guys?
Oh, awesome! But you know what? I've done 3 shows with the Joke Slingers, and that was like, this is the coolest thing. They're awesome. God bless them. I can't say thank you enough to them, because what I did, I'm from a small town in Ohio, about 16,000 people, right? And what I want to do is every 6 months, I want to bring quality comedy to this little small podunk town that never seen comedy. You know what I mean?
That would be awesome.
So I started off with those 3. You know, and myself, I opened up the show, and then I just basically said, hey, blah, 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 I'm happy to bring these guys here, and, you know, threw a couple jokes out, and then brought up Kearns, and Kearns brought up Alex, and then Alex brought up Adam, and it was awesome. You know, and a lot of these guys never seen a real comedy show. We drew almost 200 people.
Are you serious?
Yeah, in a podunk town. You know, so that was awesome. So I'm going to try to do something.
Who promoted it?
Me. And
You promoted it?
I did, and then,
That's awesome.
you know, Kearns got a hold of, I guess, one of Pauly's people, like some female that Pauly works with, to throw some stuff in the newspaper or something. But I don't know.
That's great. That's sweet.
Well, like, I don't have a huge fan base, but I'm starting to grow one, and it's awesome, dude. You know, so I kind of like talking to either hockey players or comedians, or to myself if I can't find anybody else cool. But
When you think about it, all the little worlds that you're in are a little bit tweaked. Like hockey players, out of all athletes, are probably like, they're a little tweaked, man. To play hockey, the Navy dudes are a little bit tweaked. Comedians, without a doubt, are tweaked. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're in a fun world. Everybody that you get to hang out with is cool and fun.
Well, the thing is, man, I think that's why I fit in this little world. You know what I'm saying? You know, because it's just like I was like really in a very dark time in my life, and I just happened to go to the Jimmy Kimmel Live show, and then after that, Don Barris is saying, "Come hang at the Comedy Store. You know, you can get in for free." So I was like, okay, cool. I go there, and it's Hotel California, man. I never fucking left. You know?
When Coach Barris brings somebody in, you're in. You know what I'm saying? He's like if that's a fraternity, he's the chief. When he brings you in, that's it. You're accepted.
Oh, I was joking with.
Just like a big party. I always tell people the Comedy Store, like, it's a great club. Like, if you want to see some of the best comedians in the world, you can absolutely see them there, and that's great. But when you're there all the time hanging out, it's less of a club, and it's more like a treehouse.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? It's like a treehouse for grown-ups.
Heck yeah, man. I love it, man. You feel just, it's either, I don't remember who said it. I don't know. I think it might have been Alex or somebody. It's like, you know, it's for comedians that can get away with wearing a leather jacket, basically. You know,
That's hysterical.
it's like, if you're, you know, you can hang out there if you're tough enough, you know.
That is, I never thought about it like that. I don't know. It's just weird. I just always kind of fit in there, and I never thought about it. And I have heard other comedians say it's a pretty rough place. That's why, you know what? Come to think of it, that's why I try to be extra nice to the new kids that show up there. Because there are some comedians that hang out there that can be, you know, and it's like, dude, doing comedy's tough enough.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
You don't need to make it any more difficult on somebody.
Definitely not. And that's one of the things I really want to thank you, and I think some of the other people, like when I started hanging there, I wasn't a comedian at all. I had no desire to be a comedian. I was just a huge fucking fan. It's like
That's
going.
how
It's like going.
most people get started.
Yeah. It's like going to a football game or baseball or hockey, and you're like, man, and then the player's like, dude, you should just lace them up and come out on the ice with us. And you're like,
That'd be so awesome.
dude.
I think every guy in the back of his brain kind of thinks that's possible.
Yeah, until they walk out on the ice.
Oh, I am no way athletic enough to even ice skate, let alone play hockey.
But that's what I'm saying. That's how like comedy is. In my opinion, I went there. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I'm just gonna watch the game, watch the comedy, whatever. And then I got out there, and you and Matt Edgar and Earl Skakel. I think more Earl and you and Don, obviously, than anybody. It's just like, man, you guys, you should fucking do this. And shit, I forget how many years ago it was I was hanging at the store, but I've been doing comedy almost 2 now. And it's like, how did I ever not do this? You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy how fast time goes by.
I know, man. It's like, well, I left there, and I think 2009 was when I left California.
Oh my god!
Yeah, you know what I mean. And that's how it's kind of strange because it's been that's how long I've been away from the store. And Piper said it best. I remember because I used to like before I did comedy, I used to love sitting in the back of the store with Piper, and dude, that's something else I want to bring up in a minute. You and Piper, but that was one of the coolest things ever. Was just sitting back there and just being accepted. Like I'm just average everyday dude, and Piper's he's just average everyday dude. And we were talking about it. He's like, I feel like I'm kind of like a mascot or a stray dog, and they just pet my belly and throw me table scraps. And I thought that was fucking hilarious,
That's hysterical. I think that's the coolest thing about getting involved with comedy is meeting people that you admire. Like, as soon as you get to meet them, you realize that, they're just normal people. Just an average, as you would say, average everyday dude.
Yeah.
Somehow has this really cool job. That's all it is.
It's like I did an interview with Jay Rosehill. He's he's a Norfolk Admiral. He's a Anaheim Ducks in the A. Yeah, man. Yeah, he fought Shelley, he fought Jody with Flyers a couple years ago, or was it last year? But yeah, he was. He beat the shit out of him.
Is he like the enforcer?
Yeah.
Wow, badass.
Yeah. And yeah, he's a hell of a good guy. And it was just like that. The second he started warming up to each other, because I'm not doing this for any radio station. I'm just doing it because I'm having fun with it. And and it's kind of like saying, hey, you guys should know who these guys are. Please know who these guys are. Whatever. And but anyways, I started getting him into it, and he's talking about the craziest fans ever. Obviously, he said Philly, and. And it just, and after I got him in, after I start talking to him for a couple minutes, they speak freely, and they're like, oh, this fucking lady was crazy, and this, that, and the other thing. It's pretty cool, man. But yeah, going back to the whole, like, people are just everyday people, and I just love that about comedians and hockey players, that they're just fucking down-to-earth, everyday people, man. I got a couple questions for you, brother.
Yeah, whatever, dude.
All right, man. First off, I want to ask you, when did you get started doing stand-up?
Let's see. I started doing a couple open mics back in the late 90s, and comedy was pretty much dead then.
Right.
It was like, you already had that big boom that peaked in the late 80s, early 90s, with like Dice and Kinnison and Bill Hicks and all those guys, all those great comics of that generation. And then Def Jam took off in the 90s. And you look at like those first seasons of Def Jam, those guys were on back when Martin Lawrence was the host.
Oh, that was
Tucker, Chris Rock. It was amazing. But by the time it was like 1998, 1999, comedy was done. So there weren't like really any open mics in Philly. There was a guy in Delaware he put me up at a bar once, he let me MC a show. And I remember Jim Norton was the headliner on a Wednesday night. And I remember going, if this guy's playing a bar on a Wednesday night in Delaware, I don't have a shot with comedy.
right.
And then a couple years later, I saw him on TV, and then he was on Opie and Anthony. And then I saw him when I was out on the road with Dice, and I'm like, whoa, this dude's a star. I didn't really decide to do comedy until like 2000. I moved out to LA, and I think my first open mic was September 2000 at the Comedy Store. And that's when I was like, all right, man, you got to do this.
Right.
This is it. And I've had a bunch of like weird, odd jobs since then, but I never had like a normal grown-up job.
I like how you said
I
that.
did it. I moved to LA.
Right.
Like where you have to like 40 hours a week and it has benefits and overtime and like a real awesome good job.
Right.
I haven't had one of those. I haven't had one of those since I started doing open mics at the Comedy Store. It's been like almost 13 years.
That's awesome, man. And that's one of the things too. I think you've been able to meet some of the coolest people at the Comedy Store. With that long you've been there. Who would you say is probably some of the coolest people you met?
Coolest? Well, I think Roddy Piper's like the coolest, nicest, coolest guy. He's the best. He's just a great dude.
Oh, baby Jesus.
So funny.
Yeah.
But I missed the shit out of him. Roland was the coolest. He was like the comedy sheriff there. He was like the big brother.
Right.
And it sucks that he's not there anymore. He really loves comedians, and he really loves comedy. So,
one of the things.
He's a great guy to have around.
One of the things I think's cool, and a lot of people, I just heard this story not too long ago from another comic, was that he had so many checks, and because he was making money on something else, that might have been, I forget what, maybe Fear Factor or whatever, and they're telling him, dude, you gotta cash fucking checks, and they said, dude, just keep it, just leave it with the club. You know, and I guess he bought the sound system there and everything. And I'm a big fan of Brian and what he's done, Red Band that is, and what he's done with the Death Squad and all that other stuff. As a matter of fact,
that's amazing.
Yeah, one of the things too, I think going to Mel's with Don Barris and him, and you know, after the store a couple times kind of got me into doing this. I think it's kind of one of the things that inspired me, but. Just listening to some of the creative things he talks about writing and that kind of stuff. Joe Rogan, that is. It's just fucking amazing.
Yeah.
You know, so that's kind of like...
It's really cool.
And that reminds me, makes me want to ask you too, is like, when do you write usually? Or what do you do to get down? Do you have to sit down and be like, all right, fuck it, I'm going to sit down and write right now? Or you just kind of shit comes to you here and there? Or?
Well, like one of the things I really want to do is write movies. Features.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that stuff, I have to force myself. That's very much a disciplined process, and there's a very rigid structure movies have to follow, or else don't have a story that a person can follow.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like there's a certain structure to screenwriting. The first act, your second act, your third act, and it takes a lot of discipline to get that out on the paper. Now with stand-up, when I write stand-up, it's very much, it's more organic process. Like, I get my best ideas when I'm just hanging out with my friends, and if it makes my friends laugh and it comes up in the moment,
right.
Like, okay, that's the thing I want to work out. Sometimes, like, when I go for a run, I'm starting to clear my brain, and I think of stuff that makes me laugh, and then I don't necessarily write it, like, on paper. I don't do that. Like, I'll go on stage at the Comedy Store, like, on a slower night, like a Tuesday or a Wednesday.
Right.
I'll be like, let's talk about this. And then when I'm at, like, a weekend show with a packed crowd, like, I just got to work with Joey Diaz. He's the fucking best.
Oh, yeah. Fucking A. That son of a bitch.
Yeah, he's the best.
Fucking cocksucker.
He's the funniest, naturally funny guy in comedy, which is a weird thing. That there's so many people that are great comedians, but they're really not that funny.
Right.
They're just really good at writing and being disciplined about it and putting it out there. Whereas Joe Diaz can tell you what he did this morning, and he'll have you crying with laughter.
Oh, fuck yeah. Him and Bill Burr, both, man, are two people I just love. Mm-hmm. I could sit down and listen to him all day.
Monster, dude.
Fuck yeah, man. He's such a nice guy.
Right now is the best comedian in the world.
Oh, he's such a nice guy, man. You know.
He is super nice and freakishly talented.
Hell yeah.
One of the cool things, one of the legends I got to meet at the Comedy Store about 10 years ago, God rest his soul, so I got to meet George Carlin.
Oh! Holy shit, wow.
Such a nice guy. He was such a nice guy. And I see Bill Burr sort of carrying that torch of that really smart, more of a philosopher type comedian, like commenting on social issues and commenting on the ridiculousness of society. And I think Bill Burr is definitely like a modern day Carlin.
Yeah, it's like no disrespect to Louis C.K. because I love that guy to death too, but realistically, Don Barris is my favorite living comic. Don't get me wrong, but Bill Burr, I mean, oh my God, the guy is just fucking. He's out there, and I wish he would get a lot more recognition. And it's cool because he slowly is getting a lot more recognition.
It
you know,
makes me feel really good because he's just he's everything that comedians want to be. He's always got new material. Always really smart. It's really funny. And I think what he does that's really special is he could take. He has a way of personalizing things and letting you really know who he is and his life, and then expanding on a broader topic. And it makes his rants all the more likable.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of guys that do social commentary sort of lose themselves in their message. But Bill doesn't. Bill's and that's why it's great, you know? He really is a great comic.
Well, that's...
Great.
Speaking of that, that's what makes you great, too, man. Because, like, whenever I go to see a show, and if you don't know who Steve Simeone is, if you ever go see Steve Simeone do comedy, you, like, have this thing about pulling everybody in and making everybody feel like you're 10 years old, but in a good way. Not in a bad way, but in a good way. Like, we're all going to get a fucking box of cereal, and we're going to watch Saturday morning cartoons together, and we're going to laugh, and we're going to have fun, and it's going to be cool, and then we're going to get drunk on Mountain Dew later, and it's going to be fucking badass. You know?
Well, that's what I try to do. Like,
and you do it, man.
I think anybody that gets involved in comedy, it sounds like a cliche, but it's like we've all battled our own darkness. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
And everybody's gone through their own shit, and then it's like, what did I really want to do? Do I want to prove to an audience how smart I am? Do I want to prove to an audience how brilliant this joke is? And what I really wanted to do was, I just wanted to make the audience feel good. And I wanted to remind people that there's all these little things in life that make it worth living. And I don't think we don't get that message enough in pop culture, whether it's through music, whether it's through comedy, whether it's through movies or television. Like, everybody just wants to complain right now. And,
yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I get it. Don't get me wrong, I'm miserable. There's always a reason to be miserable if you choose it.
Right.
Or I choose not to be miserable. I choose to go, you know what, look at this. You know, let's think about how great pizza is. Right? Like, step back from it and really think about pizza is the best. And if you have a slice of really good pizza, you don't need anything else in that moment. It's the best thing in life. And it's really cool, man. Like, I got to these, Joey Diaz sold out all these shows this weekend. He was kind enough to let me open up for him. And people were coming up to me after the show, and I was just like, they felt it. And to me, that's everything. It's not the words that I use. It's not the jokes that I say. It's that I just want to put like a little bit of joy inside the people in that audience so they can go home and feel a little bit better about life. That's it.
Well, you do a good job of it, man. And that's...
Thanks, man.
No, serious, dude, because I'm not kidding, man. You and then, like I said, a few other people, I'd say about a dozen people, like, really took me from a very, very, very dark place that I was in and fucking made me say, I'm not so fucked up after all. It's like, I'm not so fucked up after all, you know? And I'm not saying that you're fucked up, but you probably are.
Dude, all to me, please. Here's what I tell people.
We all have to be...
Nobody normal would put up with all the bullshit of being a comedian.
Hell no.
And that goes back to why I try to be extra nice to kids that show up at the Comedy Store, new faces, because just learning how to be funny in front of a room full of strangers is difficult enough. But all the other challenges, like people I don't think understand how difficult it is just to get on stage to have the opportunity to get better.
Oh my
and then
God.
as you get better, how are you going to get paid? And then you go from how are you going to get paid to how you're going to make a living. And then there's challenges. It's a tough process, and anybody normal would quit. Anybody normal would quit. It's the really crazy people that say, this is it. This is all I have.
Yeah, fully, man. I honestly, sometimes, I'm kind of torn. I mean, there's nothing more that I love in my life, as far as career-wise, is that I am a Navy CB, and one day I'll be able to say I was a Navy CB. But, I mean,
that's amazing.
Sometimes...
I can't thank you enough for your service. I mean, military people are just better people. They just are.
But,
we live in a very selfish society, and for you guys to go out there and do what you do, it's amazing.
Like my kind of point is sometimes I kick myself for not doing this sooner, the comedy thing, and why didn't I do that? I didn't have a direction. I had no clue how to fucking, there was no open mics in Podunk, Fremont, Ohio. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Right,
like that's the cool thing I think now with like Twitter and Facebook and podcasts is that comedians and this knowledge is starting to get more accessible. But 10, 12 years ago when I was in Philly, I would have to drive to New York to do open mics. It sucked. Or I'd have to go down to Delaware and play a bar, or I would do like 2 comedy shows 2 weekends in a row and then not get on stage for 6 or 7 months. It was depressing, so I just said fuck it one day and drove to LA. I'm like, I know I can get up at the Comedy Store. That's it.
That's awesome, man. I mean, that's the thing, too. I wish more people were like, because there's a lot of bitter motherfuckers, man. It's just like, I'm better than you, I'm better than you. It's like, dude, you've been doing this for 1, 2, 3 years, and that's it. We're all about the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it's just like one day somebody gets it. You know what I mean? You might have been doing it for 6 months, and you finally fucking get it. Well, nobody fully ever gets it. But you know what I'm saying? They kind of understand where to go with it more. Versus, that guy who's been doing it for 6, 7 years, and he's just like, why the fuck's he getting this stage time, and I'm not? Well, I think it was...
That doesn't solve anything.
No, I think it's funny because Adam Dodd and I were talking. There's a place called Lucky's here, and he and I both done that room. I just went to go see him because, I did a room. I did Kazi's. I opened at Kazi's and I left there, which is a club not too far from it, and I went to Lucky's to watch Adam close. And it was awesome because we had this good conversation about we're all on the same fucking team. You know what I mean? It's like, reminded me of the old gang. Remember that? We're all on the same team. The old anti-gang commercial. That's what it felt like.
We're all on the same gang?
Yeah, we're all on the same gang.
I love that song.
Oh, shit. Who are some of the biggest influences you've had, man? Like, since you've been doing it, and have they changed much?
Well, I loved comedy my whole life.
Right.
I can't remember not loving laughter and making people laugh, and my whole family's crazy, and we would just sit around and break each other's balls at the dinner table. We'd watch comedy. Like, growing up, I loved, I can remember my parents, when I was 3 years old, they went to go see Richard Pryor.
Oh,
awesome. Being 3 and getting dropped off at my grandmother's house, and knowing I wanted to go see him with my parents. And then I remember seeing, like, Eddie Murphy's specials. Like, to me, Delirious is the best. Eddie Murphy, Delirious, and Raw. And then Bill Cosby had the specials called Bill Cosby himself.
Oh, yeah.
It was amazing. And Cosby still, cause I think when you make a decision to work clean, it's much more difficult. And Cosby's just a master. I think Bill Cosby's, he's like the pie. Remember in Kill Bill, there was an old master pie May? That's Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby's the master. And then Dice, I remember one of the coolest things for me was when I was in high school, I remember Dice sold out 20,000 seats in Philadelphia like in 10 minutes. And I waited in line at a Ticketmaster location to get tickets to go see Dice. And I was literally touching the rafters. I was all the way in the back.
Oh.
And to be at the Comedy Store and hanging out with him was the coolest thing ever. Pauly Shore was really nice to me. There was all these guys I watched doing comedy as a kid, and then when I got to the Comedy Store, I was exposed to all these other people. And there was this comedian named Freddie Soto, God rest his soul, that was an amazing stand-up comic. I learned a lot by watching Freddie. I learned a lot by watching Joey Diaz. Because Joey Diaz's comedy is very much in the moment, and it's very truthful. It's not contrived. There's nothing fake about it. And Freddie Soto was like that, and Freddie and Joey, and then all my friends. That was the weird thing. Like, I don't understand why comedians are so competitive with each other, because it's always your friends that wind up helping you the most.
Yeah.
And then, like, seeing guys like Ari and Renazizi, seeing Steve Renazizi become a star has been, like, the coolest thing in the world for me, because we used to work the door together. We would stack chairs and change the sign. And now here he is, he's famous, dude. His TV show, The League, is maybe the funniest thing on TV. He sells out every time he does stand-up comedy. He sells out. Ari Shaffir, Joey Diaz had the number one comedy albums on iTunes. Their podcasts are in the top 20. And these are just guys that, like, they're my friends. It's weird. It's like, I remember thinking, like, Eddie Murphy was my hero, or Dice was my hero. And then you get to the Comedy Store and you get to meet Eddie Murphy.
Oh, yeah.
You get to see Chris Rock work out new material. And you go, oh my God, you get to see Bill Burr. I remember, like, 10 years ago, I was working the door and I got Bill Burr up on stage in the original room. Willie Anderson was doing the stuff in the main room, and I was like, I knew Bill Burr. I was like, this dude's
I hope so.
And it's just cool, man. It's, seeing Sebastian become one of the best stand-up comics in the world. And I remember when Sebastian was doing, midnight spots on Tuesday in the original room. Now he sells out everything on the road. Seeing Chris D'Elia, I used to do open mics with Chris D'Elia, and now he's on an NBC sitcom. It's crazy. It's like really happening. It's so cool.
Yeah, I gotta fully agree with you, man. I mean, just because I only hang out there, I mean, that's your lifestyle, the store, and fucking, I think it was Mitzi's birthday a couple of years ago, and like all kinds of comics came by from everywhere, and that's like the only real contact I really had with Dice. I talked to him for about about 5 minutes. Just really nice guy, and I can't imagine how it would feel to open up for somebody like that. You know what I mean? Just be like, man, this...
Well, the crazier thing, I have to be honest with you, like, when you're in the business long enough, like, the shows are like, whatever, do a show, you want to do whatever you can for that audience, give them the best experience they can have. Because you think about it, people are spending money on tickets, they're paying for babysitters, it takes a lot of planning to go out and have fun.
Oh, hell yeah.
But the coolest things, for me, were like not the shows I did with Dice. It was like going over to his house for a barbecue on a Sunday afternoon, or going to a birthday party for one of his sons. Or
hell yeah.
Being at a diner at 2 in the morning with Joe Rogan, and he's telling you his philosophies on comedy, or seeing Chris Rock go up on stage in front of 10 people and tell stories about how he used to park cars at the Comedy Store. I mean, it's the little things that I think are just really, really cool. I remember, like 2 years ago, I was like, oh my God, that was just one of the coolest things that's ever happened to me.
Right.
Walking down the back hallway, that connects like the original room to the main room, that back hallway that the waitresses use.
Yeah.
And I'm walking one direction and out through the main room. It's Eddie Murphy, and he just smiles and nods and says, "Hey, how's it going, man?" I was like, "Hey, how are you?" Like, he had seen me enough in passing at the Comedy Store that he acknowledged me. I was like, holy shit, that's Eddie Murphy. I mean, that's as cool as it fucking gets.
Hell yeah, man. I haven't even hit that magnitude, and I feel, as far as, people, but, I mean, just, I totally feel what you're saying, bro. I went to the secret location in West Hollywood where Don Barris edits his podcast, and I thought that was amazing. Just walking through the store, being able to walk through the waitresses area, that alone feels fucking awesome. I can't imagine, seeing Eddie, that's fucking badass, man.
It was just so cool. And like I said, now, all my friends are starting to make it. It's just an exciting time to do comedy. I hope that within the next year I'll have my podcast up and I'll take advantage of all this social media and put a special out or a one-man show.
I hope so.
It's exciting. I mean, Steve Burns' TV show's getting picked up for another season. I've been out on the road with him, and to see him, Steve Burns was always a monster stand-up comic. I never saw him struggle because he came from New York. He paid his dues in New York before he came to LA.
Right.
So by the time, Steve Burns came out around the same time Doug Davidoff came out, and they both showed up at the store around the same time. They're both dynamite stand-up comics. But I've seen Steve Burns go from being a great stand-up comic to selling out. I was out in Ontario with him for the week between Christmas and New Year's Eve, and we did New Year's Eve together. He sold out every show, every single show. That's crazy.
Well, I'm hoping that happens for you, man, because realistically, you're one of the funniest guys that just drags people in. You know what I mean? I'm serious. It's just when you're sitting there and you got your mouth open and you're like, where's he gonna go to? He's right. All you needed was a fucking rock back then. No shit. This is awesome. Just, I don't want to give away your bits and fucking do some hacky bullshit
on it. You know what it is, man? When I have a good crowd, I am having more fun than anybody in that audience.
You are. And that's why it's so easy to get sucked in, because you're just laughing along. You're laughing at your own punchlines before you even get to spit them out.
To me, it's not. It's I think sometimes comedians make too much of a big deal out of it. And I was like, wait a second, I've always been able to make my friends laugh. That's how I had friends from the time I was a fat third grader.
Right.
That's how I made friends. I could just be me and make strangers laugh the same exact way I make my family and friends laugh, that was it. I'm like, oh, we're all just hanging out right now, and I'm going to tell you this story.
Yeah.
Or I think this is funny, or did you ever notice this? And it's way more fun, and it works better. Audiences get it. They dig it. They're like, oh, shit, this is really who he is. Don't have a bad audience, it's not going to go well. I got to be honest with you. Where you go, okay, it's like a bad first date. You're like, this is uncomfortable, and you guys didn't come out. You know, every once in a while you get those crowds that just aren't your crowds, and that's good. But when you get the good ones, it makes up for it.
Well, that's one of the things too. You're one of the first people to say that about to me. That is because and I think one of the best things was that you and Earl Skakel both said was be you, dude. And I'm finding me, which a lot of people that haven't done comedy have no clue what the fuck I'm talking about. But you know what I mean. I'm finding me. You know what I'm saying? And I'm still in that search for me. I think I've got it, but I don't know. You know what I mean? But I'm still trying to find me up there,
That's the whole process. Like, that's, like, the coolest thing about the Comedy Store, we keep on coming back to the Comedy Store, it's funny. But the coolest thing to me is that when you walk up the steps into the original room, and Tommy's booth is right there, what it says on Tommy's booth, and nobody even takes the time to read it. It's because it's painted underneath where you buy your ticket. And it says, Sunday night is potluck night, which means that anybody with the desire to have 3 minutes on stage. That doesn't mean you need to be funny in 3 minutes, but you need to be 3 minutes. And that's the whole challenge as a stand-up comic. It's like, there are guys out there that make people laugh. They have the type of act that anybody can do. But the more you figure out who you are and what makes you funny and how you do things, the more unique your act gets, and then you're you. And then nobody else can do what you do. It's really cool. And it takes time.
Hell yeah, it does. The thing I love, too, is that, that's the first, like, stage I really did an attempt to do stand-up on was a potluck there before I got stationed here. And then I got here, and then I couldn't. I was busy with my fucking military job, And then now it's just like I always think of that as my home. And if I eat shit, because we all do, if I eat shit one night, I don't get mad at myself. I think, what could I have done better? And no matter what, I always have the store to go back to.
Exactly.
As fucked up as that sounds, I know no matter what, I can go back, I mean, and the thing is, too, I need to develop, and that's why I love about here, is there's actually a decent comedy scene. Some of the comics are assholes, and some are really cool guys. Don't get me wrong. But it's a decent, like, to get started scene here. But, but I got...
the Funny Bone right there in Virginia Beach, right? Do they do open mics or anything?
No, they don't do one there, but there's a couple other places here that do open mics, and then there's a couple dudes. Dan Ellison's a good guy. Yeah, you basically text him and he'll put you up. He's got 2 or 3 rooms going on. Tim Lilly's another dude. You text him and he'll put you up. And there's a few guys here that have decent rooms that you can go up, which is cool. I could probably do about 3 rooms a week, so.
Holy crap, that's awesome.
And then I get a lot of really strange, awkward. I won't say awkward. I also get some really cool, strange guest spots. Like, we did this Geeks Night of Comedy thing, which I'm a huge comic book collector, and fuck. And I got slid into that one, and then, like, more, like we were talking about Alex and Adam and Brian Kearns, like, the Joke Slingers Comedy Tour, they'll come to town, and they'll be like, hey, you want to open for us? And I'm like, fuck yeah! You know what I mean? So,
that's awesome.
And that's the thing, too. I mean, God bless Kearns, dude. He always gives me an opportunity. So, whenever he comes through, yeah, I can't say nothing wrong about him. Shoot. Matter of fact, it was just, I keep going back, I don't mean to go back to this, but to bring people out in a city that doesn't really see very much comedy, it was fucking amazing, and the coolest thing was, after that show, it was a week ago today, or yesterday, was that we're standing in the back of it, and Brian says, dude, these guys are here for you. They're not here for anybody else but you. And I was like, wow, that's a big thing to take in, and I'm still like flattered. But anyways, enough about me. Let's get back to you, buddy. What's some of the best advice that you have for new comics?
Just have fun. Have fun on stage. Have fun with the process. If you're doing it for any other reason
Like car theft?
It's the most fun thing you can do. Like, get on stage and you know if it's... There's certain people, you know, they go out there and they go, yeah, that was all right. And then there's other people that just get bit by the bug. And I got bit by the bug my first time on stage. I was like, oh, this is what I was supposed to do. And like I said, when I came to the store, I put a little pressure on myself and tried to make too much out of it. And I really did used to write things out and say, this is what, I have to get to this joke and I want to work this out. I always had an agenda. And then I had a point, like an epiphany where I was just like, you know what? I'm going to go out on stage and I'm going to have fun because the rest of my life is miserable. And by having fun on stage, I started to be able to enjoy my life more, and that made my comedy better. That's it. For me, it's all about just celebrating, going out on stage and having fun. And that was one thing Dice had told us. It was like me, Ari, Running Easy, maybe David Taylor. We're all hanging out at the Comedy Store like on a Tuesday night, like 10, 11 years ago. And we're all door guys or working the parking lot and stuff. Dice was like, if you're not having fun now, get out. Because it's only going to get worse. You know, enjoy it. Enjoy everything about it.
Hell yeah, man.
That's it. That's it. And stage time. Figure out how to get on stage. And if you're having fun on stage, it'll make getting on stage, you'll look forward to it more. And persistence. Just keep on getting on stage, keep on having fun, and that's it. And eventually it'll work out.
Remember when Dove was here, speaking about stage time, Dove was here at the Funny Bone. Anytime a store comic comes through, and you know, because when Ernst was here, he helped me get on and get there and all that other stuff.
Brent's the best.
Yeah, he's an awesome guy, man. And when Dove was here, too, I was shooting the shit with him after the show, you know, talking about, we always go back to the store, right? But talking about the store and stuff like that. And I guess when he was doing stand-up in New York or someplace, he used like a Hispanic name just so he could get more stage time at a different club or something like that. I thought that was pretty funny. But yeah, man, it's cool too because like Rick here at the Funny Bone, he's really, really, really supportive of comics, and so what he does now is if you go there as a comedian, you know, you just let him know, hey, what's up? I'm a comedian, and then he'll take good care of you. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta let him know, and you gotta get a slip to get in, and he'll help you out if you're a comic. You know, which that's really cool. But what the fuck was I gonna say about that? I forget. But that's one thing is really I love about the store is and some clubs where you gotta watch, man, and just being able to hang out and like right now talking to you is fucking awesome for me in my book. I mean, because you're up there in my top 10 with 100 other comics.
But this is what it is. Hanging out with other comics, that's just as important as the stuff you do on stage. You know? It's like, oh, shit.
Hell yes,
dude, my phone's dying.
Uh-oh.
I was going to say my phone's dying. I'm at 5% battery.
Well, hey, man, I appreciate...
Dude, this was a great talk.
Hell yeah.
And please stay in touch.
Oh, I will. Hey, you want to do this again sometime? And then we can probably do we'll do a part 2. You know what I'm saying? Because I still have like... I have like 5 or 6 more things I want to go with the flow of the show, yo. And now I'm a poet and I didn't know it. Fuck it, yo. No, okay, real quick before we go, do you have Awesome Steve is your website? What else you got?
Yeah, awesomesteve.com, and that has my Facebook and Twitter on there.
Okay, awesome. Another thing too, man. When the fuck are you gonna do new shirts, bro? I want one.
I know. I have to do the shirts. I'm doing stickers, shirts, and then hopefully within the next 6 weeks I'll have my one-man show up.
That'll be fucking awesome.
That's I'm looking forward to.
That'll be awesome, dude. You really are one of my favorite fucking comics, and you really are a big inspiration to me. And I don't mean that in any other way. When you talk about,
Thanks,
you know, but when you talk about, that's gonna sound really corny, but I'm gonna tell you straight up, man. When you talk about running into Dice and all that other shit, it's kind of strange because I knew you as a person before I knew you, as a comic at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Or I don't know how to explain that.
Yeah.
But, and that's kind of like how I feel. I really hope you fucking blow up, dude. I enjoy the hell out of you.
Oh, thanks, dude. dude.
And
I hope so.
as a person and as a
Yeah,
comedian,
if I could just make a living doing this shit, it would be great. There's so many other comedians that want to help out.
yeah, you know, that'd be fucking phenomenal. Remember, like, when you were a kid, did you like Metallica growing up?
Yes.
Okay, me too. I loved them before the Black Album. I would have never really gotten as much into Motorhead, which is my favorite band now, or the Misfits, which I really enjoy too, if it wasn't for, like, Metallica. But what I try to do in my little comedy fucking outfit, I try to wear either Stephen Brody Stevens t-shirt, a Death Squad t-shirt. I'm going to make my own Big 3 t-shirts if fucking Don Barris doesn't make a couple. Because that's how I got into those bands. And that's why I want one of your shirts, too. Oh, I also have a Sam Tripoli's Naughty Show shirt. Like, I want to fucking do that. Because it's just like, you see all these bands from... That's how I got into Motorhead and Misfits, was because...
Yeah, man, you go, wait, what were their influences? Who do they think is cool? I completely agree.
Yeah.
You know, all those people you just mentioned are some of my favorite comics, my favorite bands. So true.
And it's like...
So true.
Hell yeah, dude. I would have never known about Exodus if it wasn't for a Cliff Burton wearing a t-shirt. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah, you're 100% right. Yep. So true.
And then,
all right, brother, my phone is dying. This was a great talk. I'll still talk to you later this week.
hell yeah, man. Fuck yeah. Good talking to you, man.
All right. Take care, brother.
Later.
Wake up early in the morning, go to the well, but the well run dry. Uncle Bear send mail, find Mabel, until the girl come back by and by. In the wintertime, when it's cold out, everybody know that the pine won't freeze. Locked in a cabin, cold jug of whiskey, waking up the dead, yellow woe is me. Fifth week of April, snow done melted, open up a door for the washing man. Get him in the shack, sideways glances, hit him on the head with a frying pan. Down by the frog pond, come across a catfish, walking up the right like a human being. Said, hey, white boy running round barefoot, whole lot of fish in the world need free. Beaver liquor. Early one morning, hop on a boxcar on the St. Louis on a northbound train. Hole in the ceiling, flapping like hotcakes. Get a free shower in the pouring rain. Get to the city, checking through the motel. Fanciest place that I ever done seen. Look across the street for a little entertainment. See a young lady make my face turn green. Standing all butt necked over by the window. In full figure to my surprise. In come a woman with a funny looking finger. Seen it all happen with my own two eyes. Seen by the landlord, big and all muscle bound, chasing me around like an old cyclone. Don't like the way this place done working, jumping on the train for to get back home. Beaver liquor. Wake up early in the morning, go to the well, but the well run dry. Uncle Bear send mail, find Mabel, know the girl come back by and by. In the wintertime, when it's cold out, everybody know that the pine gon' freeze. Locked in the cabin, cold jug of whiskey, waking up the dead, yellow woe is me. Fifth week of April, snow done melted, open up a door for the washing man. Get him in the shack, shoot sideways glances, hit him on the head with a frying pan. Down by the frog pond, come across a catfish, walking up right like a human being. Said, hey, white boy running around barefoot, whole lot of fish in the world need free. Beaver liquor.